Good morning, Cowboys Nation, and welcome to a blockbuster edition of the Cowboys Report. Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the hottest topic in Dallas right now: contracts, and more contracts. This is breaking news that's shaking the foundation of the Dallas Cowboys, and we've got a lot to unpack. From the urgent situation surrounding superstar Micah Parsons to the complicated case of DaRon Bland and a handful of other key players, the clock is ticking and the drama is heating up as training camp looms just days away. Let's get right into it, because this is the kind of story that could define the Cowboys season and their future for years to come. Let's start with the biggest name in the game, Micah Parsons. This man is not just a player. He's a phenomenon, a generational talent, a game-wrecking edge rusher who's already being whispered about as a future Hall of Famer. And yet, here we are, days away from training camp, and the Cowboys still haven't locked him up with a record-setting contract he so clearly deserves. This morning, we got fresh insight into Micah's mindset when he spoke to the media during a heartfelt ceremony at his high school, where his jersey was retired, an incredible honor for a player who's still so young in his career. Amid the celebration, though, the questions inevitably turned to his contract and his plans for training camp. And folks, this is where the plot thickens. Micah made it clear he's planning to report to camp when the Cowboys officially kick things off. For those keeping score, the report date is July 20, with the first real practice set for July 22. That's just around the corner, and the anticipation is palpable. But here's the million-dollar question, or more accurately, the multi-million-dollar question: how involved will Micah be once he's there? Will he be out there flying around, disrupting plays like the human highlight really is? Or will he be limited, maybe even standing off to the side, watching as contract negotiations drag on, like a never-ending soap opera? That's the uncertainty hanging over this team like a dark cloud, and it's got Cowboys fans on edge. Micah, to his credit, is handling this with the poise of a seasoned veteran. He told reporters he's not fazed by the noise, that he's just trying to do things the right way. He's letting the cards fall where they may, he said, and you can't help but admire his calm in the face of so much uncertainty. But don't let that zen-like demeanor fool you. Beneath the surface, you can sense the weight of this moment. Micah knows his worth. He's not just looking to sign a big contract. He's looking to reset the market for edge rushers. Not match it, not nudge it up, a little reset it. And he's absolutely right to think that way. This is a player who's not comparing himself to Myles Garrett, Tia, J. Watt, or Aiden Hutchinson. Their deals? They're irrelevant to him. Micah sees his value as unique, and honestly, who can argue with that? Let's break this down for a moment. Micah Parsons isn't just another elite edge rusher. He's a game changer, a defensive force who can single-handedly take over games. He's the kind of player you build a franchise around, the kind of talent that comes along once in a generation. The Cowboys know it. His agent knows it. The fans know it. Heck, the entire NFL knows it. So why, oh why, is this deal not done yet? This isn't some intricate puzzle that needs to be solved. It's not a mystery wrapped in an enigma. It's a straightforward case of paying your superstar what he's worth before things get messy. The longer the Cowboys let this drag on, the more frustrating it becomes, not just for Micah, but for the entire fan base. To give you a sense of how much this matters to Cowboys Nation, we've got a little fun going on over here at the Cowboys Report. We've set up a Micah decision pool, a fan-driven guessing game where people are tossing in their $5 to predict when Micah's deal will finally get signed, or, in some wild alternate universe scenario, whether he might even be traded. Let's be clear, a trade is not happening. That's pure fantasy. Micah Parsons is the heart and soul of this defense, and the idea of him wearing another team's jersey is about as likely as me suiting up for the Cowboys myself. But the fact that this pool exists and the pot keeps growing tells you everything you need to know about the uncertainty surrounding this situation. Nobody knows when this deal is going to get done, and that's a problem. This should have been wrapped up months ago. When Micah spoke at his high school, he sounded like a man who's wise beyond his years. He talked about letting things play out naturally, about trusting the process. But you can't help but wonder what's going on behind that calm exterior. This is a young superstar who's acutely aware of how the NFL business works. He knows he's not just going to get paid, he's going to set a new standard. And he's not wrong to expect that. Every contract in the NFL sets the stage for the next one. When one elite edge rusher signs a massive deal, it raises the bar for everyone else. That's just how the market works, whether Micah wants to acknowledge it or not. Myles Garrett's deal, T.J. Watt's deal, Aiden Hutchinson's deal, they all influence the conversation, even if Micah insists his value stands alone. Here's where things get a little technical, but bear with me because this is important. During his media session, Micah started talking about the salary cap specifically, how it's gone up and how top player contracts are often tied to a percentage of the cap, rather than raw dollar amounts. He mentioned an 18% increase in the cap, which, to be honest, isn't quite accurate. The cap actually went up by about 9% this year, but his broader point is spot on. The salary cap is a moving target. It increases every year, and as it does, the price for top-tier talent rises right along with it. If Myles Garrett signed a massive deal last year and the cap went up 9% this year, then Micah's contract needs to reflect that increase. It's basic math, but it's also a reminder of why the Cowboys' delay makes no sense. Every week the Cowboys wait. Every percentage point the cap creeps up. They're potentially paying more for Micah down the line. If you know you're going to give him the money eventually, and let's be real, they have no choice but to pay him, why not do it now? Lock in your superstar, avoid the drama, and move on. The longer this drags on, the more it becomes a distraction. And make no mistake, if this situation carries over into training camp, it will be a distraction. Micah is saying all the right things, and he's winning the PR battle hands down. In today's NFL, where players are as much brands as they are athletes, that matters. Guys like Micah and Joe Burrow understand the game off the field just as well as they do on it. They know how to navigate these situations with grace, but that doesn't mean the Cowboys should test their patience. The time to pay Micah Parsons was yesterday. Get the deal done. Stop speculating about whether he's going to practice or hold out. Stop worrying about injury risks or contract standoffs. Let's move on and focus on what really matters, winning football games. The Cowboys have a championship-caliber roster, and Micah is the cornerstone of that defense. Letting this contract situation linger is a self-inflicted wound, and it's one the Cowboys can't afford as they gear up for a season with sky-high expectations. Now, let's shift gears to another big name on the Cowboys' radar, DaRon Bland. If Micah's situation is a no-brainer, Bland's is a bit more complicated, and it's adding another layer of intrigue to this contract saga. Bland is coming off a season where he was arguably the best cornerback on the Cowboys roster. That's no small feat when you're playing alongside a guy like Trayvon Diggs. But here's the catch. Bland is also coming off an injury, and his production dipped just a bit last season. That makes his contract situation a little trickier to navigate. To put things in perspective, let's look at the cornerback market. Just recently, Sauce Gardner signed a massive extension with the Jets, narrowly edging out Derek Stingley's deal at a whopping $30.1 million per year. That's the new bar for elite cornerbacks, and it's created a clear divide in the market. You've got the top-tier guys like Gardner and Stingley making upwards of $30 million a year. Then you've got the next group, players like Jalen Ramsey or A.J. Terrell, who are in the $20-25 million range. And then there's Trayvon Diggs, who, believe it or not, isn't even in the top 10 anymore in terms of cornerback salaries. That's how quickly this market is moving. So where does DaRon Bland fit into this picture? That's the million-dollar question, or more accurately, the $20-something million question. Bland is good, really good, but he's not quite on the Gardner or Stingley level, at least not yet. He's also not in the bottom tier of cornerbacks. He's somewhere in that messy middle where it's hard to find a clean comparison. His injury, history, and slight dip in production last season only add to the complexity. If you're the Cowboys, you have to weigh the risks and rewards of locking him up now versus waiting to see how he performs in 2025. Here's something to keep in mind. The franchise tag for cornerbacks in 2025 is projected to be $21.76 million. That's the floor for Bland's next contract if this situation goes unresolved. If he hits free agency or gets tagged, he's going to be asking for at least that much, and probably more. The longer the Cowboys wait, the more expensive this gets. It's the same story as with Micah, just with a few more question marks. Unlike Micah, who's represented by Athletes First, Bland has a different agent, which might help smooth things over a bit. Sometimes, past relationships between teams and agencies can create tension in negotiations, but that's less of a factor here. Still, at the end of the day, business is business. The Cowboys have a laundry list of big contracts coming due, and Bland is just one piece of the puzzle. You've got Micah Parsons, Tyler Smith, Jake Ferguson, George Pickens, and even Brandon Aubrey, the kicker who's been lights out since he arrived in Dallas. None of these deals are going to be cheap, and the Cowboys are going to have to make some tough choices. Let's talk about those choices for a moment, because this is where the Cowboys front office earns its paycheck. Do you pay Jake Ferguson and let George Pickens walk? Do you prioritize Tyler Smith and push Bland's deal down the road? There's no perfect answer, but one thing is clear: the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. The salary cap is only going up, and every delay adds dollars to these contracts. If the Cowboys are smart, they'll act quickly and decisively. Pay your stars now, lock them in at today's prices, and avoid the headache of a bidding war later. As we head into training camp, the clock is ticking louder than ever. Micah Parsons' deal needs to be the priority. It's not just about securing a player, it's about securing the future of this franchise. DaRon Bland's situation is trickier, but it's no less urgent. And with a handful of other key players waiting in the wings, the Cowboys can't afford to play contract chicken with their future. This is a team with championship aspirations, and distractions like these are the last thing they need. So, Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Are you as frustrated as I am about the Micah Parsons delay? Where do you see DaRon Bland fitting into the cornerback market? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update from the Cowboys Report. Training camp is just days away, and the drama is only getting started. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.